everybody, it's Catherine, and today I'm filming outside. Thumbs up if you like the background. I think nature and natural lighting is a whole lot better than in my bedroom, and it just feels a lot greater to be outside talking about this with you. I originally was not going to make this video because I thought it's too overrated, but obviously this doesn't apply for all high schools. I'll give you a little background on my high school. It's a pretty competitive school, like top 100 public high schools in the country, and so a lot of the problems I might face you might have no problem with. So let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to compare sophomore year to my freshman year a little bit. 9th grade was stressful because I had band, I had basketball, I had volunteer work on the weekends, and I had to do that on top of high school homework. And then I realized, oh, you do homework during the weekends. So that's like a great tip. If you do all your homework during the weekends, it just feels a whole lot better. So freshman, I was freaked out. I wanted to get an A on every test. I wanted to make sure my grades are perfect. If I was below 93, I'd be freaking out about the final, and I was just so like OCD about it, and so was everybody else. Everybody, all I talked about was like, it was like, you know, you're waiting outside for the teacher open the door, and they're like, oh my god, what did you get on the last quiz? Like, did you think it was easy? And everyone's concerned about how easy and how hard everything is. I struggled from freshman year, but I guess I'll tell you my GPA. I maintained a 4.0 GPA, which was what I wanted to do, basically, if I want to get into the dream colleges. Duke was just where I want to go. Even though some high schools, colleges don't count freshman GPA, I still valued it as very important. Then getting to sophomore year. Sophomore year is a lot more relaxed. You know how high school goes. You know what your classes are going to be like. However, your classes do get a little tougher, but they're not to the point where they're APs. So you get, if you don't know what APs are, APs, if you get an A in that class, it counts as a 5.0, and a B counts as a 4.0, which is like an A in normal classes. So your sophomore classes are not APs, but they're slightly harder than your freshman classes, so you have to work extra hard to get that 4.0 you want. That being said, I did have an easier time in sophomore year because I didn't freak out about grades as much. The reason I didn't freak out or stress out about grades is because I worked really, really hard and did not take anything for granted. Didn't say, oh, that test was easy. I never, ever, ever say a test was easy after I take that. For me, it's not so much superstition as if you say that test is easy, you are going to keep like underjudging the test, and you're not going to be studying as much because you're going to think they're easy. I never take a test as easy. I do my best, and I come out of it saying whatever I get, I did my best. Socially, I'm jumping back around because I have a whole long list of stuff on my iPhone that I want to get through. Socially, sophomore year, freshman year, you're kind of closed off. You have your middle school friends, and you stay with them, and you're just kind of getting used to everything, so you eat lunch with them, and you don't talk to these new people. My high school, 2 middle schools filtered in, so about half my middle school went to the high school, and then a whole other middle school, so there's a bunch of new people that I had never met before. And I basically just stay with my own friends. The thing that helped me branch out was basketball. I met a whole bunch of other people through basketball and band. So it's such a common thing to say, get involved, but honestly, it's crucial to you becoming more outgoing and getting more friends in high school, which is what you want to do, because I've had so much more fun when I've had a different variety of people. Like, I have my band friends that I met through band, I have my basketball, sporty athletic friends, and then I have, you know, like honors kids that are like really want to do well in school, and so I have a whole different grouping of friends, and that's not something I had in freshman year. So definitely take advantage. You know, just sign up for a club. You go a couple times, you don't like it, you can quit. You don't want to freak out like I did my freshman year, but you also want to stay strong for junior year. Sophomore year is that bridge year between like easy, not exactly easy, but inexperienced, and they expect you to do a lot. So you have to know that you have to work really, really hard this year, because if you don't work hard your sophomore year, it's going to seem extremely difficult your junior year. Versus if you try really, really hard in your sophomore classes, those APs aren't going to seem so difficult. And basically, you want to know that you're getting solid A's in your sophomore year. My sophomore year, I'll tell you my GPA too. If you don't want to hear it, just like skip past. I don't know. But I just want to tell you so that you know like what my struggles, what my challenges like amounted to. And I took one honors class that was basically the only one available to take my sophomore year. But basically, I did get an A in that, and that was a weighted class, so like I was saying, you get a 5.0. So I ended up with like a 4.05 GPA, which is good. I'm glad. But I still need to do a lot of work if I want to get into like Ivy Leagues and stuff. Like I said, my school is really competitive, so that's why I'm talking about all this stuff. If you don't care, if you have a 3.5, that's like great. It's what is expected of you, but in my school, it's like if you don't have a 4.0, you're weird. So, and I don't want to come off cocky right now. I'm just telling it like it is, telling you how my school is, so you know. Because if your school isn't like this, then if you're getting a 3.5, you're probably at the top of your class. So deuces. Also, sophomore year is when you want to start getting into things that you like and may want to start doing in the future. So I have been volunteering at a zoo about 45 minutes away from me every weekend for the past 4 years. And though I love animals, I'm not going to be going into any animal sciences because I feel like that field has limited job positions and it's fun, but I want to be comfortable and that I have like a good stable job, and I want to like move up in ranks, and I feel like that's not possible with animal care. But a lot of people that do zoo, they want to become animal people. So if you want to be involved with animals and biology or something, go to a lab. Like if you have a university nearby you, there might be like teen programs, or start, you know, getting an internship at the clinic, or start like helping out at the gym, or whatever you want to get into. You want to start looking at summer programs for that, or internships, because you want to know what you want to do for college pretty early on. Like, you don't need to like make a decision like, oh, I want to be a psychology major, but if you have an interest in that, go ahead and take those classes, sign up for those clubs, talk to people that you think might want to go in the same area, and overall just get a better feeling for what you might want to do so you're better informed. One thing I started doing sophomore year, over middle school to high school, my fashion has kind of evolved, and this is a fashion channel, so I would say you want to start dressing nicely every day because people do notice, and you never know who's paying attention to what you're wearing. It not only gives you like an esteem boost, but it just feels better to go to school every day. Like, who's going to notice your outfit, and overall just when you walk into a class, you want to feel good about what you're wearing, not like you're wearing sweatpants and you stayed up till 4 a.m. last night studying. It's just an overall, it makes you look organized and put together versus scrambling to get your high school experience together. Also, something I'm taking right now, SAT class. I take it 3 days a week. Summer before junior year, this is, okay, going into sophomore year, I guess you could take it. That's a little weird. I wouldn't do that. You don't want to get pre-stressed out. I mean, a year of SAT classes, a little psycho, but I have heard of people in my school going since like 8th grade. So, that being said, I did sign up this summer, and I'm going for 4 weeks. I've taken like 3 or 4 practice tests. I've improved a lot in each one, and you want to know the strategies for the SAT. Also take the ACT too. But for sophomores, you don't need to start thinking about that till the end of this school year. Also, SAT-2 subject tests. I take chemistry my sophomore year, so you can take the Chem SAT-2 subject test. You need like 1 science test, so you need to start thinking which year you want to take science. I'm going to take mine. Biology next year, I'm going to take my subject test. Also, you might want to start thinking, if you're struggling in classes, you might want to get tutored. My school provides tutors in the library every Tuesday and Thursday. There's math and science. Also, tutorial is a time for any student to go to their teacher and ask questions about the last quiz they took, or just study, or anything you want, basically. So take advantage of those opportunities. If you're falling behind in class, don't just say, it's too hard, whatever. You need to put in your hours of work. Some people will take a test and they've been doing stuff, you know, yesterday, so they were not in their right head yesterday. If you know what I'm talking about, this is a teen channel. So, going into sophomore year, you probably know what I'm talking about over here. So they were not in their right mind and not doing cool stuff, so they took the math quiz without studying and expected to get like a B, and instead they got a D, and they're like surprised. Even if it's like the first quiz of the year, the first math quiz of the year, it was a subject we'd already covered. I studied for probably an hour on just like a 30-point quiz that didn't mean a lot, because I wanted to start the year strong. If you start the year with a C on your quiz, you're going to be constantly struggling to like raise that, but if you start with a strong A, your confidence is boosted, you feel like you can study every time like that, and it's going to have effects, and overall it just works out better for you. However, if you do all that and you're still getting B minuses or C's and you don't think that's good enough for you, consider getting tutored. You don't want to fall behind. I knew chemistry honors was going to be a hard class before I even signed up for it. So I immediately got a tutor that started tutoring me the first week of school, and that's probably one of the main factors that helped me to get an A. Even if they're not helping you that much, they can boost your confidence, which is a big thing. You want to be confident in school. And so then you can do better just because you know you have a tutor, so if you don't understand anything in class, which is a big problem with my teacher, you can just ask your tutor. Or you can just go study with your friends. That's another thing you can do sophomore year. Have study parties, because a lot of your friends are taking the same classes. There's not such a variety of classes you take sophomore year for me. Versus junior year, everyone's taking something different, so it might be a little more difficult to start studying in groups. Like I said, some sophomores, you're about 15 or 16, so you can start looking for work permits and jobs possibly. A lot of high schoolers work at yogurt shops like Yogurtland or Pinkberry, or maybe like a bakery or a little cafe in your downtown area. Otherwise, internships as well. Internships might even be a little better, but the jobs are always a great thing to do because they teach you responsibility. And if you don't have a lot of extracurriculars, you want to have something you're doing with your time besides just wasting it. I find that when I'm busier, I actually do more effective homework time because I know I have 2 hours from 9 to 11 to do my homework. Or I got home from basketball at 4 and I'm going to orchestra at 6, so I have that an hour and a half before I have to leave that I need to do my homework. I need to just get it all done versus you have from 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 7 hours, and you only have 2 pieces of homework. You're going to slack off and just do less efficient work, basically. It's a little out of order, but you want to get to know your teachers really, really well. That is awesome. I love my sophomore teachers. I met some really, really cool ones. And even start thinking, what classes did they teach? Maybe I want to take another class with them. Like my Spanish teacher, she was phenomenal. And so I signed up for AP Spanish, and she might be teaching it. So you want to start planning your classes out, thinking about what subjects you want to do for future careers maybe. Think about what requisites you need. Think about if you want to take AP classes. I wouldn't suggest I'm doing 2. That sounds good.
People are always like, how many AP classes are you taking? Oh my god, I'm taking 4. Blah, blah, blah. I'm so proud of myself.
Like, oh, just shut up. Like, who cares? Like, just take whatever you want. I'm not taking AP classes because I want the value. I'm taking AP because Spanish, that's logically I was in Spanish 3. Spanish 4 is called AP, so that's the next one, and I like Spanish. And then bio, I love bio, so I really want to take bio, and the next class, only class I can take that's biology, that I didn't, because I took a freshman biology class, and that was for junior year. The only class you can take in biology is AP. So do AP in the subjects you love. Don't do AP history because you want the credit and you think you can do the work. That's just bored out of your mind. Don't make the decisions your friends do. I don't want to say this, but don't trust anybody's opinions. If they say that class was totally easy, you should take this math class, and you should take honors, analysis, and you should take all this. Don't listen to them. Just don't. Even if you think they're the same level as you, same intelligence, everybody works freaking differently. If I were to tell a freshman that they should take chem honors because I had an easy time, I got an A, that's not the same thing. I did a lot of work, and they might not be willing to put in that same amount of work. So just don't listen to what other people say. If you feel it's right, it's right. Talk to your counselor, talk to your teachers. They know your work ethic better than your friends. I'm sorry to say that, but I personally would not trust your friends. Sometimes they're right, but we all have different opinions, and you can listen to mine on YouTube because I'm all-knowing, but you cannot listen to your friends. I'm just kidding. Don't even take this. Take what you want out of this. If you think your friends are more knowledgeable than you are about yourself, something's going on there. Thank you so much for watching, and thumbs up if you like this video. Leave any comments you have for incoming sophomores. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!